through the back. So we creepin', caps are blue, so you know that we peeking. And I'm back for the night.
Welcome, y'all, to another episode of 7 p.m. in Philly. I'm your host, Steve. And today, I got my dog, Sonny Sword, back with me. My dog, welcome back, man. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Before we get started, I do want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. We need them subscribers. We need them followers. We've been getting a lot. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys have said, comments, and all that. But continue to hit that like button and subscribe button. We appreciate it. But like we do in every episode, let's get right into it. So this episode is just current events. And the things that's on our minds and the things that's been going on around the world. And I got my dog, Sonny Sword, here with me. And let's just get right into it. Sonny, how was your Father's Day? I know you're not a father, but how was your Father's Day? What'd you do?
My Father's Day was lit, you know. So for my dad, me and my sister actually got him a new stove for Father's Day.
Nice.
So we made, he lives in Long Island, so we made sure that he got it, and that was like an easy installation, and he was very moved by that.
Nice.
Because his stove wasn't working for a little bit. So
nice. And you know Haitians, they love their stove. They can't live without their stove. So
hell
broken
no.
Stove.
I mean, he was doing this thing without it, like, but you know, we had to bless him for that.
That's what's up.
Then with my stepfather, we saw the new Spider-Man movie, which was fire. Like, that was like a 9.5 out of 10 to me.
That's fire. That's dope.
Yeah, we was kicking it in North Jersey, ate some good food, and just kicked it. Like, Father's Day is like very chill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes. I've never been to the movies with my pops before. I've never been to the movie with any of my parents. I don't know if they know what an American movie theater looks like in the United States of America.
you gotta take them.
No, I am.
At this point, it's on you.
Right. Now it's on me. I mean, I'm gonna just pack up the car and be like, come on, we're gonna go see whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Father's Day was cool for me, man. Like, obviously everybody knows I have 2 kids, so yes, I'm a dad. For me, I just want peace.
Yeah.
It's one peace. I feel like during the week and every day I'm always, kids, dropping off to basketball practice, dropping off to school, picking up, and, I'm in dad mode. So for me, my biggest thing is just kind of like, I tell Ashley, like, take the kids. I just want peace. I want to sleep. I want to watch my shows. And I have a tradition. And everybody always makes fun of me because of my stupid tradition. But I don't call it stupid. I like it. I get Popeyes every Father's Day.
That's crazy to me.
That
is crazy to me.
It's nothing crazy about
it's crazy.
It's nothing crazy. Everybody wants to see my thought process. Everybody wants to go out. Everybody wants to go to a nice brunch or a nice dinner. And it's just packed. Like, it's everybody's out. So for me, it's just kind of like, nobody's at Popeyes.
And for good reason.
Nobody's going to Popeyes. So I go to Popeyes and I just get everything on the menu damn near. And I just have a little bit of everything. Have me on my nice little feast. And then I go to over my pop's crib after, like later on in the day. We watch like some Westerns and all that. My dad's a big Western guy.
Oh, cowboy.
Yeah. He loves his Dirty Harrys, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, he's all about it. So the tradition, I go over there, we watch some Westerns, and then I give him his gift, and then that's it. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, it's cool.
I got a question for you though.
What's up?
So Popeyes is your jam, right? Do you think that's better than the Crown Fried on Broad and South?
The Crown Fried that we go to damn near every Saturday when we're my bad. I'm gonna hit it our secrets.
We don't go there every Saturday, by the way.
Damn near. You know what?
That shit was slapping.
Nah, that Crown Fried is slapping. I feel like
but that location. I'm gonna show that location love.
I feel you. That Crown Fried is fire, but it ain't fucking with Popeyes. I think Popeyes is it for me. Like, that's just like the creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know, man. The biscuit.
Oh no, them biscuits don't be fire to me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with you on this.
Yo,
one.
tell us what you think about Popeyes in the comment section.
Right. Let us know what you think about Popeyes. But yeah, that's my tradition, and people always sliding because I always post it on IG. People always sliding up in my DMs. It's like, yo, you got to eat better than that, and I'm like, yeah, I eat out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always out eating and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, all right, let me have my day. It's my day. I do what I want. Like, mind your business. You know what I'm saying? So that's my day, man. But yeah, so moving on. Next, we have I-95.
Jesus.
I-95 has been the thorn in everybody's ass for the longest, man. But recently, a couple of weeks ago, an explosion happened and I-95 was pretty much dismantled on the Cotman area. So if you're from Philly, you know, on I-95, on the Cotman exit, it was gone. And the one side was gone, and then the other side suffered some damage, and they just kind of removed it all. And they fixed it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Good for them.
Like, now everyone's like, you know, the memes and all that. Do you trust that I-95 is actually fixed properly? What do you think? Do you trust the government or the city to fix the highway properly? I mean, I feel like they're always working on it. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it depends, like, because the government, from what I heard, it was the government. Yeah. They intervened and they were like, yo, we got to fix. This is a major highway route. We need to get this fixed right away. We're not going to leave it to the city to handle this.
Correct.
Because it's going to mess with a lot of, like, interstate, you know, commerce and whatever else. So, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Because we just comparing it to all the nut ass shit from before.
Right. right. Facts. Like, I moved here to Philadelphia back in 2001. And between the Cotman area and Center City, I feel like they've been working on 95 ever since then. Like, it's constant work. It never gets fixed. And it's kind of like, it has me I have to ask myself, it's kind of like, yo, how come they don't fix everything else just quick like they fixed this? I get it, the government's helping, but it's
a money grab.
I mean, I get it, but it's kind of like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, it's always traffic all the time. So now the government's involved, and now it's all messed up. It's kind of like, oh, we're going to fix this in 2 weeks. Not 2 months, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's wild. And then they had the nerve. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram. They had the nerve to have all the Philly mascots on there. They drove through with a fire truck on there. Big celebration. It was just kind of like, yo, we fixed it. If we put a fire truck on there, that means the bridge is good. It's fine. I mean, I'm just like, yo, fam, nah, I'm good off of it. And I don't know. I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks. I ain't gotta go that way anyway, so I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks before I go that way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, that actually reminds me of a story my uncle told me. I think it was about the Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah. But he said when that bridge first went up, nobody wanted to go across it. Because it was like the first bridge like that, like of its time, right. In New York. And what's the circus bulls? Like Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah. Barnum, Bell and Bailey and Son.
Apparently, like, he took like 100 elephants like over the bridge. Like, it was like a whole spectacle to show like
that. Yeah. It's good. It's secure.
Yeah.
They're not going to die.
I never fact checked that story, but that's what he told me. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting story.
Nah, it
sounds too ridiculous to not be true.
Right. No, right. Nobody just makes it up. Like, yo, they just took 100 elephants. Right. Like, that sounds like some hood homie will come to be like, yo, dog, they had 100 elephants on the Brooklyn Bridge. A word?
Oh, why?
Facts. But yeah, man, 95, man, it's crazy. And I just wish that we would have that same energy for all our roadways and they would fix it up. You know what I'm saying? So, but We'll see, but I ain't hopping on it. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. I'm gonna give 95 that way a good month before I ride that way. You know what I mean, so for sure. But moving on, man. This has been the biggest thing on the news as of this past week or so.
Has it even been a week?
Has it? I don't know. It feels like it because I've been seeing it every damn day, man. The Titanic submarine. I don't know exactly. I don't remember exactly what it's called.
Like the submarine itself.
The submarine itself that went down.
I think it was called Ocean Gate.
Yes, Ocean Gate. Yes, that's exactly what it was called. It went down to go take a look at the Titanic. It's apparently this is something that people do. They go down in the deep, deep waters to take a look at the Titanic. If you don't know what the Titanic is, then I'm not going to explain that to you. But and they disappeared. And social media went crazy. The memes, the jokes.
Right.
It was out of pocket. It was a lot, man. And it's kind of like, it makes you ask the question that why don't people care?
I think people did care or do care. I think the manner in which the whole thing unfolded was very comical because they see that, you know, these people are coming from extreme wealth.
Right.
They have the means to do, you know, such a wild like adventure with a lot of risk.
Right.
And I think the demeanor switched up like once it went from like missing to, you know, confirmed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like people, you know, these people lost their lives. Like,
correct.
This is still a tragedy. Like nobody deserves that.
Right.
But also I think people were also, you know, making a connection like, well, if you can do this kind of like excursion, like with your wealth, what other good could you do in the world with that same amount of money?
Facts. Absolutely. But for me, obviously, people losing their lives is not funny. It's not something to joke about. But the internet's the internet. The internet's going to make jokes. They're going to, you know, find some type of humor in everything. But I do feel, man, I do feel like these guys had it coming. Reading articles and watching the news, there was a lot of negligence on their part. And, you know, people were saying like, yo, don't go down there. You got to fix this. You got to fix that. There was a lot of warning, but they still went down anyway. It was kind of like, it seemed, and there were people that didn't go on there because the guy was giving, because it's $250,000 per person. Not me and you, per person. So it's just, for me, it's just wild. And it seemed like from the victim, the people that were supposed to go in there telling the story, it seemed like it was kind of like a money grab. Like, yo, because last minute discount, the guy was like, it's 150K. So you go from 250K to 150K. And it was just seeming like he just wanted people just to get on there. But like, you know, people had their concerns. It was like, no. And then, you know, this happens. It's kind of like, you feel bad, but at the same time, it's kind of like they tell you not to do something and you do it anyways. It's tough to feel bad for somebody when they tell you like, yo, listen, I told you not to touch the stove because it's hot. But then you go, you know what? I want to touch it. And you mean, it's kind of like these things happen. You know what I mean? And it's tough to feel bad. I mean, in my sense. You know what I mean? So
it's just unfortunate. Like there's no take backs with something like that. So
right. And I look at it as equivalent to like, because people be like, oh, why do you want to go see the Titanic? It's been down there for years and all that. And you know, it's equivalent for me. The way I look at it is equivalent to someone saying, I want to go to the top of Mount Everest. you can go on top of it, but there may be you may die. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people have died trying to climb the top of Mount Everest and all that. So I look at it as kind of like that's just their vice. That's just what they like to do. You know what I mean? And a risk comes along with it. It's sad. It's all that. But at the end of the day, like, that's just what happens. But I do feel like, I don't know, man. Like, why don't people care? Like, I feel like people don't care about it because they're billionaires. Like, when you're a billionaire, it's kind of like, all right, yo, man, you could have did anything else with your money. You mean? And nobody gave a shit.
But I don't think I don't think the money is the only factor, though. Like, obviously, money, like, afforded them the means to do a trip like that. Yeah. But they could have done anything else that was high risk behavior for less money.
Yeah, no, that's right. I agree with that.
I think billionaires is just such a hot topic right now, especially in today's economy, because it doesn't really feel that great for most people. Yeah. So whenever they see billionaires doing whatever they want to do because they have the financial freedom to do so, it really rubs people the wrong way.
Right. And I also feel like a lot of people are kind of like, they're rich. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, rich people doing rich people shit. I do feel like a lot of people will say that. It's kind of like, I don't really feel bad for them. Oh, they're rich. I mean, for me, it's just kind of like, yo, man, you live your life, do whatever you want to do. It's you. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do feel like the internet just had a freaking field day with this. But it is what it is. Condolences to the families and all that. But I do feel like with them being millionaires, with them being white, I do feel like media, the news, picks and choose what things they're going to cover. So we have a story here. We have some migrants boat. It was a large fishing boat that sinked in the Greek waters. And what's the story here? It was about 700 people on a fishing boat. They were all crammed on and they were making their way from Liberia to Italy, where it capsized. Rescuers saved 104 passengers, including Egyptians, Syrians, Afghans, and Palestinians. But authorities fear that hundreds of others may be trapped below deck. They say this will be the worst if they're not found, which they presume to be dead. This would be the worst ever recorded death in the central Mediterranean.
Wow.
You didn't know about this story until this morning.
I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday, when I was talking to you about this, you didn't know about this, and it kind of makes me feel some type of way. I feel like these are migrants. These are not rich billionaires. It's kind of like the mentality of like, yo, who cares? Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. I do feel like the news picks and choose what they cover. Yes, it wasn't in the United States of America, but when the whole thing in Ukraine was happening, we covered that too. You know what I mean? So I do feel like they pick and choose. It sucks. It's sad. Will they send out rescuers to go rescue them or try to find their bodies at sea? And I just don't think it's fair, man. What do you think about that?
I mean, another tragedy of like, they're like polar opposite like circumstances. Mm. Like these people were trying to, I guess, like find asylum.
Yeah.
Whereas the other tragedy in the water was just pure, adventure. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sad. Like I'm not sure why I didn't hear about it. I mean, there's just so many things like in your feed now.
Right.
Whether it be like celebrity nonsense, sports, or other forms of entertainment, like people that are actually in your life. Like it's easy for any story to kind of slip through the cracks.
All right.
So I may not be, I'm hitting the wire like crazy. I may not be the person to, you know, be evaluating whether this news is just getting swept under the rug or am I just like missing it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But we didn't miss the Titanic thing. We didn't miss we didn't miss that. Because why? It was in our face.
Well, that was also on our side of the world.
I get it. But I feel like just because it's on our side of the world, or it could be anywhere in the world, I feel like the news picks and choose what they want to put out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh well, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So, and I feel like they just didn't care. I'm not gonna say didn't care. It just wasn't as important. You know what I mean? And I don't feel that that's fair because I feel like in America, we pick and choose when we want to be the world police. We pick and choose when we want to help. You know what I mean?
Isn't that policing by nature though?
I mean, yes, but we want to, but we always want to save. We always want to do that. And it's kind of like, it's Ukraine, for instance. So much money is being sent out to them. So much money is being sent out to this. It's kind of like, yo, if you're going to have that energy, just keep the same energy with everything that goes on around the world. But apparently there's a lot of things that goes on around the world and nobody cares. Nobody does anything about it. Or it gets swept under the rug. No news media on it, whatever. And it's kind of like there's so many things that happen. So many things. And we never see it. But there's just things that's kind of like, you know what? The news is going to put it in your face. It's going to be on CNN, MSNBC, everything. Facebook, Twitter, all this. But then other things is kind of like pick and choosing. I mean, so it's for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I feel like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. For me.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
You know what I mean? So
I'm not sure how I fully feel about it because it's not like there's no way we can like truly see. I mean, all we can see is the end result of what story I end up hearing about versus the story I didn't hear about. Right. Like the submarine, John, I heard that because of Twitter.
Right.
Well, actually, I overheard people talking and they were on Twitter and they were like, have you heard about this? So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I heard about the migrants through Instagram. It popped up on my Instagram. I believe it was the Shade Room posted it, and I was just like, wow. And it just gave me that feeling in my stomach, like, and I can't help but to feel like no one heard about it because I believe that happened, 2 days prior to them posting it, and no one even heard about it. It was never even spoken of. But the submarine had gotten so much coverage and all that, like, you know, and I'm not saying you need to just do a whole full broadcast and it just needs to be the top head news, but just speak about it just a little bit, like something, like at the ticker. We can't. You mean they can't even get at the bottom of the ticker and say, hey, yo, this is what's happening. Like, you know, migrants, you know, in the sea, 700 people. You mean a lot of them missing? You know, something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like just give something, but for it to not to be spoken about at all, it's for me. It's just kind of wild. It's kind of wild, but you know, for me, honestly, I hope that some of those migrants get found, or if not all of the migrants get found, and it's just a pure tragedy. They were going to try to live a better life or fight for a better life. And these things happen way too often. I wish there was a way to get these people over to a safe place safely. You know, we hear about a lot of these families and growing up Haitian. We if you don't know about, you know, certain people that came over here on boats, you know what I mean, a lot of people drowned and, you know, boats capsized, and it's been happening. And you would think we're in the year 2023, these type of things wouldn't happen anymore. You know what I mean? But it's just happening and happening and happening. And I just wish that there was a safer way for families to come over. So
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the last topic here. We got Gunna and we got Young Thug. Both dropped their albums.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I like Young Thug's project.
Yes.
There was some good stuff on Gunna's project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of going to frame it like this. I think there's more enjoyable tracks on Young Thug's tape.
Yeah.
But I think Gunna had the best single out of the two.
Okay.
Because Fuck You Mean is crazy.
Yes.
And the other joint, what is it? Back to the Moon? Go to the Moon?
Yes, Back to the Moon.
Back to the Moon's hard.
Back to the Moon's fire.
Back to the Moon is fire.
Back to the Moon's fire.
But you can't deny he got the boy on Business is Business. And that's always gonna elevate it. Like you put Drake on some shit.
I'm gonna let you finish.
You put Drake on your project twice. And he did his thing on both tracks.
Correct.
So those are gonna get crazy spin.
Correct.
And it's Young Thug, so he's gonna have some solo joints that slide, and then there you have it. At least it's a decent tape.
Right. I feel like I love both artists. I mean, no shade to any of them. No shade to Thug. I'm going with. I think Gunna has the better record album, I should say, for the simple fact he has no features. He has no features. He's done every record, and then
he needed them.
Huh?
He needed them.
No, I don't think so.
He needed them.
I don't think he needed it, man, because at the end of the day, due to his circumstances, nobody's really fucking with him. So he had to come out. His back is against the wall. And he comes out and he shocks. I think he shocks everyone. Because nobody thought, let alone nobody thought Gunna was going to drop an album. And then nobody thought that it was going to be fire. It's a fire. Because there's people that's out here calling him a snitch and doing all that. They bumping it. Regardless of the fact that like, yo, you know what? Yeah, he snitched or whatever. But they fucking with the Gunna tape. And I will say, having Drake on your album's a cheat code.
So what?
It's a cheat code.
So what?
It's a cheat code.
Give the people what they want.
I get it. But at the end of the day, you don't have Drake on the album, and I don't know. The album is not as fire. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say Thug album is not fire. It's a fire album. I like it. I enjoyed it. I've listened to it maybe like 5-6 times today. But with Gunna, I just feel like since he's the underdog, man, he's the underdog. Nobody expected this from him. And he has multiple tracks that goes hard, in my opinion. Fuck You Mean is hard.
It's hard, for sure.
It's a fire track. And it's one of those tracks that once you hear it, it's kind of like, yo, it's undeniable. I don't care whether this man snitched. I don't care what he did. I got to listen to this track.
Wait, so let me ask you this. So you like Fuck You Mean more than Okay You Went?
Yes, I do.
You hesitated.
I do.
You hesitated, though.
Because it's a good track.
Hesitated.
Because if I was to just come out and be like, yeah, then I mean, it's a good track, but Fuck You Mean is hard. It's fire.
I told you, I think it was the best record between the two.
Absolutely. It's undeniable. But nobody, and that's the thing, though.
That wasn't the question. The question was which overall, I think Gunna's joint got more skips. Okay, so we listed the two that we both agree were undeniable. Yeah. What's the third?
The third track?
Yeah, give me the third.
All Right. There's the final song. The final song is All Right. And then Bread and Butter. Bread and Butter's that's what he dropped. It's his first single coming back. It's a fire track. You know what I mean?
All right. I mean, also to be fair, I haven't even had enough time to like let these like marinate.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to drag.
All right.
I'm not trying to drag any artist right now, but I'm like off the first few listens.
Yeah.
Slat.
Okay.
Metro.
And then also for me, honestly, man, like Gunna is dealing with the less, you know what I mean? He doesn't have all the producers that he had before. He doesn't have Metro. He doesn't have all these other producers that he had before. He doesn't have Future on his. He doesn't have Gucci Mane. He doesn't have Moneybagg. None of these, Lil Baby. He doesn't have none of these artists with him.
So wouldn't that make the music worse?
What?
Not having those assets?
But that's what makes the album such a great album to me, because he doesn't have those assets that had him there before. It's kind of like, yo, he's gonna drop a dud. A lot of people thought that Gunna was gonna drop a dud. He was gonna come home. Nobody's gonna fuck with him. He was gonna be. For instance, he's gonna be like another 6ix9ine in a sense. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna come home. No one's gonna bang with him. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna go over to the wayside and just fade away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he's not. And honestly, like, I feel like you keep dropping fire music, all will be forgiven. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think?
I think what you're saying is, given the resources available to. First of all, Young Thug is in the Bing right now, and he put that out.
Exactly. That's why I give him. And that's
so
why
he's not even home.
Right.
Like you talking about, Gunna doesn't have
right
A, B, and C.
Right.
Thug don't got his freedom right now, and this came out.
But Thug has all the resources, though. Everyone's on Thug's side. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know if Thug recorded any of these tracks while being in there, because
I think they were all
pre-recorded. Okay, because I know Lil Wayne, when he was locked up, he recorded some tracks. He, had the CEOs make the inmates quiet, and he did it on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And with technology and everything like that, it's not gonna come out like like how Shine did his verse over the phone, and it sounded crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was just kind of like, I don't know whether he did it over the phone, but they pre-recorded. And I think that also it kind of takes away from some of the album also, because I feel like, obviously, when you pre-record, you do all these tracks. You're an artist. You know how this works. You do all these songs. Not every song makes it to the final cut. So I feel like you've done all this stuff, all these songs, and obviously you're not around. You got to go back to the stuff that didn't make it to the final cut. And some of the songs don't quite hit.
Some of them sounded a little unfinished.
Right.
Like the beats were very...
Right.
Skeletonish.
Right.
Or that's even a word.
Or just older tracks where it's kind of like,
Like you're not... Like you haven't done this kind of flow in years type.
Correct.
Like some of it kind of sounded like... What was that album where it was like the green cover? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Shit, I forget the name of it. But I know exactly what album you're talking about.
Like that era, like 2018, 2019.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like some of the albums, for some of the songs, just past that phase. It's kind of like, all right, this is old raps. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, to me, it's kind of like, But at the end of the day, still a very, very good album due to the circumstances. But a lot of people are dragging Gunna. How do you feel about that? What's your take on Gunna?
I don't know all the particulars of the case. Right. All I know is they was both locked up.
Correct.
And then he came home and Thug didn't. And I'm sure there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Like, it's not like very like A or B. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm sure like his lawyers telling him to do stuff. Thug's lawyers telling Thug to do stuff. Right. Like, we don't really know like how everything went down. But the optics, especially like in the rap game, like, it's not a good look Like when y'all are all getting pinched for like, what was it? It was like a RICO.
Correct.
It was like a RICO charges. It's like, listen, if you're playing in that game, like, yo, you gotta take the punishment too.
Right.
So it's just not a good look. It's not a good look for him. I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying he did do anything. I'm just saying it doesn't look good for him.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it.
Yeah. No,
I don't think it's gonna help his career.
I don't think so. I think obviously his career is gonna suffer. It sucks to see such a good artist's career suffer due to street activity. I'm a normal civilian, and for me, it's kind of like I just look at it like, yo, it's none of my business. Like, I like your music. Whatever you do behind closed doors, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like the internet, it's funny how people on the internet, like they'll create an account just to go on there and call them a snitch and do all that. It's kind of like, why do y'all care? I mean, especially if you, it's one thing if you're a street dude. If you're a street dude and it's kind of like, all right, there's certain codes by the streets that go by, whatever. I respect it. Cool. That's your code. That's what you're in. That's the life you're in. But if you're a regular civilian and you going online just to bash homie, just cause the masses are doing it, I think it's corny. I mean, like, yeah. I'm not taking the time out of my day to go on your page and call you a snitch. For what?
I think there's an exception to that rule though. Because 6ix9ine was ODing with his like King of New York shit, Omnis, and then like it was just all like fraudulent.
Well, 6ix9ine was just 6ix9ine was asking for it. I mean, like
that's what I'm saying.
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Gunna is just keeping his head down, doing his work.
Right. I mean, like, 6ix9ine, he was asking for it. He was, inviting people to his genitals, everybody this, everybody that. He was just online, just talking wild crazy. And it's kind of like, yo, bro, like, the humbling came and he was just kind of like, putting his head down and trying to be this person. And it's kind of like, yo, bro, that's not who you were. That's not the energy you gave off. So it's like, for me, it's just kind of like, with 6ix9ine, it's kind of like, yo, whatever, bro. Because you asked for this type of energy. You put out that type of energy. But Gunna is different. It's kind of like, yo, man, I was caught up in a situation and all that. And I'm stuck in a rock in a hard place. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. I feel like a lot of people out here that are just civilians that if the tables were turned, would have probably did the same thing Gunna did.
I feel like most people will tell.
No, absolutely.
Like that's the real conversation that needs to be had. Most people will tell.
Correct. Most people will tell. And then that's the crazy part about it. Because it's so easy for you to be on Twitter and IG and all that and write snitch and all that. But if you're facing X amount of years, right? Oh, you're going to tell. So my thing is just kind of like, why don't people put themselves in other people's shoes instead of like just pointing the finger to be like, oh, you a snitch, you this and that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's the culture now. It's kind of like it's piggybacking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's easy to say what you would or wouldn't do until the moment is staring you like right in the face.
Correct. And for me, it's just wild. It's just wild. It's kind of like, I don't care. I mean, like, he snitched, he didn't snitch. That has nothing to do. My life still goes on. I still live the regular life. I'm still here doing this podcast. We're still going to be here. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gunna, it doesn't change anything for me. Is it an unfortunate situation? Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation because you like the artist himself and everybody loves Thug himself. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like when you look at it from a totality perspective, like these guys put themselves there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, allegedly. You know what I mean? We'll say that. They allegedly put themselves there because obviously if you're just a regular artist, you're not doing anything, they're not going to try to arrest you and build a RICO case against you. Apparently somebody's snitching. Somebody higher up, that's how they got here. You know what I'm saying?
How do we know somebody's snitching?
because obviously they don't build a RICO case unless you get some type of evidence.
They could just get the evidence though. You don't gotta have an informant just to build a RICO case.
Normally there's somebody telling. Because a lot of people give cops and detectives too much credit.
That's not true.
They give them a lot of credit. They think that they're solving these murders and they're solving these crimes. Like, nah, people tell, bro. You watch you watch these mystery shows and crime shows. People tell, bro. That First 48. Have you watched First 48?
Years ago. All right, so let's go with your theory for a second. Let's say somebody low on the totem pole, right, was an informant helping the detectives build his RICO case against Thug. Right. So there's just snitch, lower level snitch. They all get locked up. Right. Thug, Gunna, whoever else. So if Gunna snitches, does that change things for Gunna? Is basically what my question is. If somebody else already fumbled the whole operation they had, does it change it for him? He's like, wait a minute. He's jamming me up. Right. Like, now I got to look out for me. Right. Like, I'm not the one who's unraveling this. But
exactly. But I feel like that's what Gunna is allegedly like, yo, listen, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm just an artist per se. Like, they don't have anything on me. Like, yo, are they a gang? Apparently, y'all already know they're a gang. You know what I'm saying? It's YSL gang. Yes, they're a gang. Was that gun yours? No, you know it ain't my gun. I mean, and then that's the thing about it. Like, if me and you are in the car, and I have a gun, it's my gun, right?
Right.
Wouldn't you think, and I don't know if this is what was done or what happened. If it's my gun, and then we get arrested for my gun, what would you want me to do?
Take that gun charge.
Why?
You taking that charge like you taking the charge.
Because it's my gun.
Because it's not mine.
It's not yours. So it doesn't make sense for two people to get charged for a weapon that's mine. It's for me, it's selfish. You know what I'm saying? But that happens all the time. There's a gun involved. Nobody wants to say anything. And they're like, oh, I don't know who gun this is. We just gonna eat this.
But I tell you this though, if the cop asks me whose gun is that, I'm not gonna tell him it's your gun. I'm just going to say it's not mine.
Correct. It's not my
There's a difference.
Gun. Correct. But during that time where they're saying it's not my gun, while the proceedings going and be like, yo, it's my gun. I'm not going to even put you in that position for you to even say anything.
What if your lawyer gives you different advice? You want to go home, Steve? This is how you go home.
I get it. But the moral.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at you in the courtroom like, when are you gonna?
Right.
Yeah, but this is
right.
That's your strap.
That's your strap, nigga. Take this charge. You know what I'm saying? So there's things that's put out there. I don't know. I mean, nobody knows the full truth and everything behind it. We're all speculating. But if we are gonna speculate, for me, based on the things that we've heard, the rumors and everything like that, Gunna wasn't involved with anything. I mean, he was just a regular artist per se, involved in this whole.
You like fuck you mean too much. That's why you talking. He said, yeah.
I mean, so allegedly, so Gunna wasn't involved in none of this, but the streets is the streets. Hip hop is hip hop. People are gonna look at him as a snitch. You know, part of me kind of feels bad for him because at the end of the day, like, a lot of people fall into this unfortunate circumstances, and it's just the way of the world. And you never want to see another black man at that, go through struggles and sadness and have their riches taken away for things that they've worked hard for. But if this is in fact self-inflicted and, you know, he was involved in stuff like that, then hey, so be it. I'm on my business and I'll keep it moving. But that's that. But to pick the album I'm going with, obviously I'm gonna go with the Gunna album. You're gonna go with the Thug album.
I'm gonna go with Thug.
Gonna go with the thug.
So it's a stalemate.
Stalemate. Yeah. We'll ask you guys. You know what? We're gonna put a poll online to see what the people are feeling. And don't be biased. Just base it off the music. Don't base it off, Gunna's a snitch and all that. Base it off record for record, bar for bar, music for music. Go from there, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
All right. Yo, Sonny, I want to thank you for pulling up on me, my G.
Yo, thank you for having me. Always a pleasure being on this podcast. This platform's great. Love just laughing with you, kicking it with you.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Always.
man. Yo, you got a concert coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah,
plug
Wednesday,
the people in. Plug it.
June 28th, Frankie Bradley's. They got their new location next door, B West. We're turning up. Me, Just Ant, Lam Zigbo. It's going to be a movie. We outside. Can't wait.
Yo, support my dog. Great artists. Support all the guys that's on there performing. Awesome artists. And go come check out my dog on Wednesday, June 28th? Yes.
Yeah, June 28th.
Just June 28th.
Doors open at 8.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of 7 p.m. in Philly. I'm your dog, Steve. That's my homie, Sonny. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the love, and we'll see y'all soon. Later.